Doing this job, I get to use a lot of phones. So phones that have 1-inch camera sensors, phones that open up to be tablets, which is still wild, by the way, that this exists. But there's always one phone that stays with me no matter where I go, and that one is the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So after 12 months of babying this phone and then just throwing it in rucksacks, how has this held up over the past 12 months? Well, this is my long-term review over the last year of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Let me start by saying that this is the best Pixel that I've ever used, even though I do have a little bit of a soft spot for that Pixel 4 and its panda design. I love that thing. But from its cameras to its display and to its design, after 12 months, this thing looks like I just pulled it out the box yesterday, and I am not about that screen protector and case life. I want to see how these things hold up in the real world, and I've got to tell you that that display barely has any scratches on it at all that bother me. Sure, there are definitely some micro scratches that are on this display, but overall this is doing well. And even the glossy side rails, I thought these would be really damaged, and there is one kind of minor scuff that is on the side of this thing, but besides that it's holding up pretty well. I suppose the only disappointing thing for me is that there is a black mark, like there's a black stain on the back of this phone. I don't know if you can see it here, but I don't really know how it got there, but it's now there forever. My only complaint, and it's not really about the design, but it is about how heavy this thing is. Like compared to the S25 Ultra, this feels noticeably heavier. So I do hope that in the next Pixel with the Pixel 10 Pro XL, that Google just shave off a couple of grams of this and then it would be perfect. This is the part of the video where I've now got to bash Tensor and talk about how badly that the G4 has held up over the last 12 months. But you know what? It just hasn't been that bad. I definitely agree that we want more power from a Tensor chip, but this just goes to show that you don't really need it. It definitely runs hot if you're pushing it, so gaming, more intensive tasks, and I've been told that wireless Android Auto really pushes up the heat on the Pixel 9 Pro, so I assume that would be the same on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. And this is where I wish I could use that thermometer on the back of the Pixel 9 Pro XL to test how hot this phone can get, because sometimes I forget that that thermometer is even there, but testing the heat of the phone with the Pixel thermometer, I think that would probably be the best use case for this. But let me be honest here, day in, day out, I just can't tell you that I've had many problems. Like for my normal phone tasks, I could not tell you the difference between the Tensor G4 and let's say the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Now my Pixel actually feels way snappier, and this might just be because I always change the animations to 0.5 in the developer options, but I have zero complaints here about the performance because the optimization I think is just more important than raw power, especially if you're not going to be using all that raw power. It's not been all plain sailing with the Pixel 9 Pro XL in the last 12 months, and I definitely do have some complaints, and my biggest one has got to be delayed notifications. Like I know so many people have had problems with this and it just drove me crazy. And I did mention that Tensor is fine for everyday tasks, and I stand by that, but the one thing that I'm not a fan of is the battery. I've only used the XL version of the Pixel 9 and it's kind of annoying. If I'm just out using the camera a lot or traveling and just want to use this to watch content, then the battery gets pretty hot, and in that percentage it can just tank. And then it is so frustrating that I just need to top this up after watching a few hours of movies, because I know if I'm on a long enough flight, I'm not going to reach the end of the flight with any juice left. And then my other gripe is the slow, confusing charging speeds of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. And maybe I've just been spoiled by that super fast charging of OnePlus and Oppo and Huawei, but I just think that this is just a little slow in comparison at this point. If there's anything that Google has to improve on the Pixel 10 series, and definitely the Pixel 10 Pro XL, it is that charging speed. Like, I don't know, let me get to 70% or full in like an hour and then I'll be happy. But at the moment, this is just a little bit too slow. So they are my complaints about the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but the one thing that I cannot complain about is when it comes to its cameras over the past 12 months, because honestly, they are great. I still think that the Pixel cameras are the best you can get on any Android phone, and I think they beat out the S25 Ultra, and this is just one of the main reasons that I will always carry the Pixel 9 Pro XL with me. I know I will say this all the time that photos are subjective, but for me I just found that the Pixel 9 Pro XL handles pretty much anything in any situation well. If it's anything from low light to very bright light, I feel that this captures the moment as I was seeing it. And for me, that's what it's all about. It's making sure that I can remember the moment that I took the photo and make it accurate. I love the 5x lens on this. I find that it captures more details than other 5x telephoto lenses, and overall I just don't feel like I am that disappointed with the photos that the Pixel 9 Pro can take using that 5x lens. Sure, there are definitely times where I wish that the photo was a bit better, and that might actually be a lot down to me, but there are times in very dark situations where that photo can be a little bit meh. But for the most part, this is the phone that I turn to when I need a great photo. And when it comes to video, the Pixels really took a step up this year, and I don't actually think I'd be far wrong in saying that this might be the best video you can take on any Android phone. Now, I apologize that a lot of these video samples are in portrait, but I have taken a lot of videos for Instagram. And the reason is that this is just my favorite video you can take on an Android phone. I know I just mentioned it, but I really do think that Google has taken leaps in video over the last few years, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL brings all of that together. Stabilization is fantastic, dynamic range is great, and the fact that you can use Video Boost to bring your 4K videos up to 8K is such a good addition. I am going to complain about Video Boost though, because I do think it's great, but also at the same time you have to turn it on every single time. That is annoying, and if you forget to turn it on, you then can't boost a video that you took in 4K, so you'd have to redo that video to be able to boost it with Video Boost, and to be honest, it does just take a little bit too long to actually boost that video. So there is some annoyances there. But if you do remember, then honestly, it does kind of work like magic. And even without Video Boost, I will say it again, I think this still has the best video on an Android, and it's stepped in so many times for me doing product shots in videos when I don't have my camera with me. In low light, the video definitely struggles and it can be pretty bad, but sometimes I kind of don't mind the odd occasion where this isn't great, because what phone is great in low light? But overall, the Pixel's camera is just fantastic. There are other reasons though that the Pixel stays with me at all times, and a lot of this is down to the Pixel experience. The UI is clean and I love that, although I do wish sometimes there was a little bit more customization like One UI has. There is Now Playing, which I love. You have Call Screen, which is just the best, and then you have Gemini, which I cannot tell you how much I've used this since getting my dog. Like, I feel like Gemini Live has single-handedly kept her alive with all the questions that I've asked about her. And I know that Gemini and Gemini Live is on every single Android phone at this point, but I've just used it more on my Pixel than I have on any other phone. My favorite app though on a Pixel is the Recorder app, and it is just the best recorder app that I've ever used. I do a lot of product briefings and I just cannot type quickly enough to keep up, so the Recorder app doing live transcripts of what's being said has saved me so many times. It's not always accurate, but I'd say 95% of the time it is spot on. It separates speakers and can pick up different languages and translates them. It is so good. Then you pair this phone with a pair of Pixel Buds and the Pixel Watch 3 and it just becomes like a complete package. Oh, and having Class 3 Face Unlock to use for my banking apps and actually unlock the phone, it works so well. And this kind of brings me on to what I want to see next from Google on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. I want Video Boost to be available on all lenses and not have to turn it on every single time. I want a lighter phone, like the Pixel 9 Pro XL does feel premium, but I don't want it to be heavier in that trade-off. And I mentioned how much I love the display on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and I do, I think it's great. However, the S25 Ultra display does have the anti-reflective coating, so Google, on the Pixel 10 Pros or whatever, just straight up copy what Samsung have done here, because no one will be mad at that, and it makes the experience so much better. And there are a lot of rumours of the next thing that I want, and that is the Qi 2 magnets being built directly into the Pixel 10 series. And I want this so much. There really aren't many phones doing this in the Android space right now, so I don't know, this will make you stand out. And of course, just give me some faster charging. And I feel like if you do all of this, then the next Pixel 10 Pro XL, it could be perfect. I don't think that many people can argue that the Pixel 9 Pro XL is up there as maybe one of the best Android phones in the last few years. It looks great, it performs great, and it still takes the best photos that you can get. And for those couple of reasons, that's why I will always have a Pixel with me. If you've used any of the Pro Pixels though in the past 12 months, let me know your thoughts. I'm curious to what you love, what you hate, and what you want to see next in the next line of Pro Pixel phones. Before you head off, why not subscribe to the Android Authority channel? And if you do that, then I will see you in the next video.